Hello, everyone, and welcome to Corlew's Tiebreaker Super Bowl documentary. In this video, we will look into the history of the big game from the very beginning up until last year's event. The Super Bowl, as we all know, is an enormously popular sporting event that determines each year's NFL champion. And in fact, every year, millions of fans gather around a TV screen somewhere to watch the biggest football game of the season. Super Bowl Sunday has become a de facto national holiday, meaning that if you don't have to be anywhere, you're gathered around with friends and family to watch the big game. And in fact, the game is televised in more than 170 countries worldwide and usually includes elaborate halftime performances, celebrity appearances, and cutting-edge commercials, all of which add to the appeal of the game itself. And now, we're going to look into the history of this legendary event. Though the NFL formed in 1920, the Super Bowl didn't happen until more than 40 years later. In 1960, a group of businessmen who wanted to own football franchises, but had previously been denied by the NFL, decided to launch their own alternative league known as the American Football League, aka the AFL. For several years, the NFL and AFL were fierce rivals on the gridiron, competing for fans, players, and support. Then in 1966, owners negotiated an agreement to merge the leagues by 1970. Those discussions were led by NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle and Lamar Hunt, who will be discussed further in just a little bit. The first Super Bowl, which featured the AFL and NFL champions, took place on January 15th, 1967 at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, and at the time, it was called the AFL-NFL World Championship Game. The teams in that game were the Green Bay Packers, representing the NFL, and the Kansas City Chiefs, representing the AFL. Unfortunately for me as a Chiefs fan, the game ended with a score of Green Bay 35, Kansas City 10. And Packers quarterback Bart Starr was named MVP after his performance that included 2 touchdown passes in the game. Even though tickets sold at an average price of $12 apiece, this was the only Super Bowl in history that didn't sell out. Talk about inflation, right? I would have gone to the game for $12 a ticket, but I digress. The game aired on 2 different networks and drew in an audience of 61,000 fans. When it came time to come up with a permanent name for the game, legendary Chiefs owner Lamar Hunt made history during a meeting in the summer of 1966 with other football kingpins. They worked to iron out the details but couldn't come up with a catchy moniker. During a later meeting, Hunt blurted out an alternative option with some staying power: the Super Bowl. He soon admitted his 2 children's latest obsessions, an ultra-bouncy orb called the Super Ball, had likely inspired his flash of brilliance. Other members of the planning committee began tossing the name around, and before long, the media picked up on it. After being defeated in the inaugural Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs had an opportunity for redemption in Super Bowl IV against the Minnesota Vikings. The matchup took place on January 11, 1970 at Tulane Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. It ended in a one-sided result as the Chiefs defeated the Vikings by a score of 23-7. Len Dawson earned MVP honors with his stat line that included 142 passing yards and a touchdown pass. Some memorable Super Bowl matchups include Super Bowl XIII, when Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Terry Bradshaw threw for 318 yards and 4 touchdowns to lead his team to victory over the Dallas Cowboys. Then there was Super Bowl 49 on February 1st, 2015, when the Seattle Seahawks made a questionable play call that ended up sealing their fate. From the 1-yard line, instead of running the ball with Marshawn Lynch, they decided to call a pass play, which ended in an interception, and the Patriots would go on to win the game. Here's a note to Seattle offensive play callers: Hand the ball to Marshawn. Anyway, then there was Super Bowl 34 on January 30th, 2000, when the St. Louis Rams stopped Tennessee Titans wide receiver Kevin Dyson at the 1 yard line to seal the win and clinch the Super Bowl. Then in Super Bowl 42 on February 3rd, 2008, the New York Giants ruined the New England Patriots' hope for a perfect season by scoring the winning touchdown with 35 seconds left on the clock. That game included the memorable helmet catch by Giants wide receiver David Tyree after quarterback Eli Manning escaped what should have been a sack to get the pass away, and they would go on to win the game. Fun fact, by the way, even though the Patriots were undefeated going into that game, I predicted the Giants would win. So, I felt like a genius. Oh, and how could we ever forget the most recent Super Bowl, Super Bowl 54, that took place February 2nd last year. After trailing 20-10 at one point during the fourth quarter, the Kansas City Chiefs went on a 21-0 scoring run to win 31-20 over the San Francisco 49ers. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes took home Super Bowl MVP honors with his performance and gutsiness to lead the comeback late in the game. Some notes from that game for the Kansas City Chiefs: it was the first Super Bowl win in 50 years. 5-0. 50 years. And with how bad the season ended up going for the 49ers, we can pretty much say this game broke them for all intents and purposes. Let's talk about some Super Bowl super fun facts. The winning team receives the Vince Lombardi Trophy, as you can see Clark Hunt, Chiefs owner, holding in that picture there, which is named after the legendary coach of the Green Bay Packers, who won the first two Super Bowls. With 5 defeats each, the Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots are tied for the NFL record for the most losses in the Super Bowl. Teams that have never played in the Super Bowl are the Detroit Lions, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Houston Texans. In addition to that, the teams who have never won a Super Bowl are the Titans, Chargers, Vikings, Browns, Bengals, Panthers, Bills, Falcons, and Cardinals. No NFL team has ever played a Super Bowl in its home stadium. Super Bowl Sunday is the second largest day for food consumption in the United States, with only Thanksgiving coming in ahead of it. A typical 30-second commercial that airs during the Super Bowl costs advertisers more than $5 million. And nearly 14 million Americans are expected to call in sick to work the next day after the big game, which is sometimes dubbed Super Sick Monday. And like with any sporting event, the Super Bowl has a history of some notable moments that have occurred during the game itself. One of them includes the Philadelphia Eagles winning their first Super Bowl. And then how could we forget when the New Orleans Saints beat the Indianapolis Colts to win the Super Bowl for the first time in their franchise's history. One of the all-time great moments in Super Bowl history is what's known as the quickest touchdown, which took place at Super Bowl 41 in 2007, when Colts rookie return man Devin Hester caught the ball at the 8-yard line, made a few cuts, and eluded some tacklers, and went off to the races for a 92-yard kickoff return for a touchdown 14 seconds into the game. The only opening kickoff touchdown in Super Bowl history. In 1988, at Super Bowl 22, Washington quarterback Doug Williams became the first black quarterback to play in the Super Bowl. After being down 10-0 in the first quarter and being on the sideline with an aching knee, Williams got back on the field in the second quarter and was determined to overcome the deficit. He went on to throw 4 touchdown passes in an epic 35-point second quarter to lead Washington to a 42-10 win, and Williams was named MVP. During Super Bowl 28 in 1993, between the Cowboys and the Bills, there was a sequence of events that started with a fumble by Bills quarterback Frank Reich, current Indianapolis Colts head coach, when he was blasted by defensive end Jim Jeffcoat, And then Leon Lett recovers the fumble at the 35 and has a clear path to the end zone when Don Beebe catches up to the showboating Lett and knocks the ball out for a touchback. But the Cowboys ended up winning anyway. And there you have it. A recap of the Super Bowl from the first edition to the 54th edition. Stay tuned this Sunday afternoon for Super Bowl 55 on CBS. And hopefully this game, from the kickoff to the end, will live up to the history of this legendary event. I want to thank you all for watching, and remember to stay safe and healthy out there. Have a great day, and God bless.